Hey, Cowboys Nation, this Cowboys abroad. So it's the 2019 season, and who has made the Dallas Cowboys roster? Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys have announced the 37 cuts they had to make, and we are officially down, trimmed down to the 53-man roster. Have trimmed down to the 53-man roster. Let's see who's made. Let's see who's made the team, who hasn't made the team. With all the predictions are over. Here's who's actually on the roster. Who's actually on the roster? Let's get into it, Cowboy. Let's get into it, Cowboy Nation, right now. Who's made the roster? Who's made the roster and who have not? Let's talk about the cuts. So who's been cut, Cowboy Nation? Here we go. Here we go. 2019 roster cuts. Here we go. Terry Christensen, Jordan Chun, Chris Covington, Reggie Davis, Tristan Proud, Jaden Guyton, Nate Hall, Mitch Hyatt, Darius Jackson, Michael Jackson, Marcus Lucas, Nicholas McNeil, Donovan Lumba. Now, right there, a couple of names might surprise you right there. Donovan Lumba might surprise you. Number 32 had a good camp. I thought it was solid. Thought he probably would make this team. Mike Jackson had a lot of buzz at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the season, preseason, but then just didn't quite pan out. Marcus Lucas, Justin Phillips, number 44, Justin Phillips. Thought he had a nice camp. Cal Quinero, Casey Redfern, Drew Scott, Shakira Soto, Ricky Walker, Mike Weber, Mike White, Cedric Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, Cedric Wilson, number 16, is part of the roster cut. He did not make this squad. So you had to go between Cedric Wilson and Devin Smith. Those of you who envision that, Cedric Wilson has been released. Cedric Wilson, number 16, did not make this team. Daniel Wise, number 64, Daniel Wise did not make this team. Ryan Yurchek, Georgia Loker, Cody McElroy, Tavis Powell, Jamel Showers. Noah Brown has been moved to PUP. IR. Jalen Jelks, Jonville Johnson, Daniel Wash, Chris Restry, Coach Richmond, all moved to IR. And Robert Quinn is suspended. So let's talk about this again. Here are guys that have been waived. Beatty, Campos, Christensen, Chun, Chris Covington, Reggie Davis, Justin McGuire, Jalen Guyton, Nate Hall, Mitch Hyatt, Darius Jackson, Mike Jackson, Mark Lucas, Cody McNeil, Donald Malumba, Jason Phillips, Justin Phillips, Quinero, Redfern, Scott, Soto, Walker, Weber, Mike White, Sergio Wilson, Daniel Wise, Ryan Yurchek, Aloka, McElroy, Powell, Showers, PUP, Noah Brown, in reserve, Jelks, Jonville Johnson, Daniel Ross, Chris Restry, and Cody Richmond. And Robert Quinn is suspended. So that gives you a pretty good indication who did make the list. We noticed that we can notice right off the top. We can notice right off the top. The taco charging is not on the cut list, and so he's made the team. Devin Smith has made this football team. That's great news for him. Shout out to him. And so uh, Kerry Hyder, and Joe Jackson have made the football team. Have made the football team. Congratulations to them. Uh, Very nice. Notable names that didn't make the cut. Justin Phillips, Donovan Lumba, Cedric Wilson, uh, Daniel Wise have all been released. Hey, what's up? What's up, Philly Cowboys 76? Yeah, man, I was just talking not a whole lot, man. I was just talking about the roster cuts, man. Dallas Cowboys, man, just released the roster cuts. Um, Cedric Wilson didn't make the squad. Donovan Lumba, number 32, didn't make the squad. And Daniel Wise, number 64, didn't make the squad. Those are things that stick out of my mind, as well as we've cut all our running backs but Pollard and Morris, and Zeke. And so uh, Mike Weber, um, Mike Weber, Chun, and Darius Jackson have all left the building. And so uh, we are officially trimmed down, at least for now, to the 53 man roster. Um, and it's pretty telling. It's pretty telling where we're gonna go. John Bud Johnson was moved to the IR as well as Chris Registry. So we may see him again later on down the lines. I think everybody would be happy to know Mike White is no longer part of this football team. And our linebacker, yep, I found it. Man, that was a name that stuck out in my mind to shock me. There was actually three shocking cuts to me, and that was Aluma, Chun, and Cedric Wilson. Cedric Wilson probably, like you said, being the most shocking. Daniel Wise, yeah, I thought he did pretty good. Um, Probably Daniel Wise probably won't make it through the waivers. He'll get picked up by somebody, I'm sure, as well as Donovan Lumba. Those two guys, I'd be surprised if we able to put them on our practice squad. I fully look for somebody to pick up those two players. But sometimes when you're as deep as we are, you have to give up good talent, and there's going to be some good talent to go to other teams. That's how it rolls. Yeah, yeah, Tom. I thought we would have kept him. I thought we was going to keep John. I thought we was going to keep John. I thought he'd make the roster. I think he did everything he could. I think he did everything he could to make the roster. Um, but I think, but what may have done him in is that last preseason game. Jordan John, that last preseason game when we got to the half and only had 5 yards rushing. Um, I don't really think that. I don't know how. I, I don't really know how much that was his doing. But we got to the half and only had 5 yards rushing. That was pretty telling for Chun, which probably did him in. He had an opportunity to really break away from the pack and show that he could be a back, show he could be a premier back. But in that last game, he really just didn't get a lot of yards, and then he got injured and hurt his shoulder. So he couldn't make up the difference in the second half, and I think that might have hurt him. I got the cut list South Hill 88, Mike Marsh. I got the cut list, man, directly from the Dallas Cowboys. from the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, Mike Jackson didn't make it. Um, fortunately, fortunately for his father, he was able to teach. He was able to teach the son something. His father was able to get it done. His father was able to get it done. Joe Jackson was able to make the team. Unfortunately, Mike Jackson he still got some work to do. But he was in he's in strong competition because right off the top, I think we all probably knew that Byron Jones, Owuze, and Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis wasn't going to be unseated. And so you only fight when he came into the building. He was only fighting for one or two cornerback spots. He was only fighting for one or two cornerback spots because the rest of those guys wasn't going to be unseated to begin with. And so he had an uphill battle, and he would disappear from time to time. And so there'll be times I forget Mike Jackson is on the field, because he's not really doing much, and that wasn't a good thing. Um, but I think it's also worth no. I think it's also worth noting that even though the final rosters had to be turned in today, about 20 minutes ago, Cowboys had to turn in the final roster today. The rosters are not really finalized until Tuesday. And so these rosters, could very well change. It's still very possible that somebody gets there's people very possible we go out and pick up somebody on people's waiver wires. It's very possible that uh, there's trades that still happens, uh, there's cuts that still happen, there's people that we can still pick up. You know, we moved we moved 4 players to RR. So in moving those players to RR, that's 4 more players that we can go out and get. And so it ain't final yet. In one of those situations might be Cedric Wilson. Once we move these guys to RR, we may be able to pick up the phone and call Cedric Wilson, or we might be able to pick up the phone and call Justin Phillips or Nalumba and bring those guys back in. And so it's not finalized. It's not finalized just yet. Nothing saying that some of these guys won't end up being Cowboys before it's all said and done. It's just that they had a deadline the day that they had to meet, and suspense they had to meet, and then um, everybody's waiver wires would get checked, and people would go out to other teams and see what they can find off the people that got cut, and we'll know whether or not the Cowboys was interested in any waivers or picked up any players within the next 24, 48 hours. We'll know if we got any other people on our team or picked up any other people on our team. Yeah, I think foundation. I think that was smarter. The Cowboys smarter. I think it's very smart of the Cowboys to um, put Jalen Jelks on IR because you get to carry him onto the 53, and you get to go out and grab another player. So he gets to rehab, he gets protected from all the waiver wires, and you can go out and get you another player. And so for Jalen Jackson was good for him. Daniel Ross going to IR was a good thing for him. Why was it a good thing for him? Because in my opinion, he wasn't going to make the team. And so going on to the IR for Daniel Ross was a good thing. It kept him from losing his job to a Daniel Wise or losing his job to a Joe Jackson or Christian Covington or something like that. And so um, I think IR probably saved him. Or IR, in all likelihood, saved Noah Brown. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Kim, bro? It's good to see you. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things. IR is a sneaky way of carrying more than 53 on your roster. Really, you got a couple guys. You got a couple guys waiting. I mean, the good news. Well, the bad news about that is that when those guys are ready to come back, when those guys are ready to come back, in order to bring them back, you got to cut somebody. The good news about it is that in the event that you have an injury around that time of the year during the season, or you need additional players, or you're not satisfied with the players that you have, you have some guys in waiting that can replace them. And so it's been a couple of times when we've had some serious injury situations that bringing a player out for IR was actually a good thing for us. But at the end of the day, I hate that. At the end of the day, I hate that Loma didn't make it. I'm not crazy about Justin Phillips not making it. Not crazy about Cedric Wilson not making. Not crazy about Cedric Wilson not making it. Jordan Chun was a surprise cut to me. Um, but at the same time, if you think about it like this, you can think about it like this: with us having cut Wire Weber, Chun, and Darius Jackson, we only got two RBs. We only got two RBs right now to line up, and that's Pollard and Morris. Now, in my mind, I think the Cowboys would probably only do that if they think they have a uh, pretty good, they have a pretty good idea of the things that are going to get worked out with Zeke, and they're going to bring Zeke on this roster to make him my third RB. I don't really think that we really plan on playing the season Pollard Morris, and Olawale, and that's it. I think we know we're gonna need more RBs, and so um, maybe that's a good sign that the Cowboys are thinking we're gonna get things worked out with Zeke. If we let all three of those go, otherwise, I think we probably would have kept an extra one, nothing else to protect ourselves um, going into the season, particularly when we got two division games. We got two division games that we got to play at the first start of the season. Um, yeah, but like I was just saying, Tom, we released three backs. That might be a pretty good indication that the Cowboys are confident that we're going to get things worked out with Zeke to bring him on the fold to make him to complete our three backs. And so generally speaking, we would dig in and protect ourselves and carry an extra back if we didn't think things were going to work out. Um, but they did. Mitch Hyatt. Um, I don't really know what to say about Mitch Hyatt, man. Mitch Hyatt was he. I think, man, this word is overused, but in this case, it works. Mitch Hyatt was trash. He couldn't get it done. And you can't get it done. You can't get it done. Man. Mitch Hyatt, man, couldn't block the water boy. It was terrible. We all had high hopes for him. Come from Clemson, two-time All-American, had a lot of accolades. Uh, we gave him a pretty nice contract as an undrafted free agent. We gave him a pretty nice contract. We had a lot of hopes in Mitch Hyatt, but at the end of the day, he just ain't ready. But maybe they go to a different team, a different system, different scheme, different blocking scheme. Maybe it works out for him. But here, um, yeah, it was ugly for Mitch Hyatt. So let me ask y'all who y'all want to bring back. Who y'all want to bring back out of the people we cut? Who do y'all want to bring back? If we make some IR calls, we can make some roster moves. Who do y'all want to put back on this roster? Yeah, foundation. He kind of remind me of the foundation. He kind of remind me of Connor Williams last year. Connor Williams last year. You know, uh, kind of Williams last year. He came in and he was kind of weak and pushed around, and he didn't really have enough. He didn't really have enough ass to really hold it down. He didn't really have enough ass to hold it down. So he got pushed around quite a bit last year. But he made up. He got in the weight room this year and made up for it. Made up for it. He come back, man. He's bigger. He's stronger. And hopefully, man, he'll be able to get in there and actually and deal with those big boys. Sometimes in college you're just more athletic, but you're undersized for the next level. And Mitch Hyde, he's undersized. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get on. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. That's pretty much the roster correct. Unless you Wilson is most important. Yeah, I would agree. Wilson Wilson is important to this team. I'd like to bring Wilson back. And I'd also like to bring back Justin Phillips. The reason I'd like to bring back Justin Phillips is because we really realistically only have four linebackers. And between LV, Jalen Smith, and Sean Lee, that's great, and Joe Thomas. But when you get outside of that, generally we like six linebackers, and right now we really only have four. Justin Phillips, I think he did a nice job of making a nice serviceable fifth or sixth linebacker. So Daniel Wise, I don't really think Daniel Wise is gonna be able to. I don't really think we're gonna be. Able, I don't really think we're gonna be able to bring Daniel Wise back because I think Daniel Wise is gonna be claimed off of waivers. Probably. I hear you, Moss. Yeah, yeah. I like to bring them all back too. Cobb and Austin resign next year. I don't know. They might. Uh, they might. It depends. Um, it depends. One, Austin, it would depend on what he does this year and how much he does this year as to whether or not we want him back next year. That'll be the main. That'll be the main thing for him. Is what his performance look like. And for Cobb, it'll be a matter of what kind of check, what kind of money is he asking for? What kind of money is he asking for? Seasoned veteran, seasoned veteran. He came here on kind of a proven type deal. Had some injuries, wanted to prove himself. If he proved himself, and if he proves himself and goes out and has a solid year, and I think he will, well, what is that production going to cost us? Because if these guys get expensive, if either one of these guys get expensive, then they won't be back. Either one of these guys, if they get too expensive, they won't be back. And so it's just a matter of how good of a year they play and how much are they gonna want? Because these guys, they came here on rental agreements to prove that they still got it in the tank, and so they can go make some money. Well, this is their opportunity to prove it. And if they prove it, um, are they going to stay here at a reasonable cost or go someplace else to where they can get paid? Because it's not going to be a lot of money for them. Uh, not if we sign, not if we sign Dak Amari and Cooper, um, and we go and sign go ahead and sign Byron Jones, and if we keep Malik Collins and Layar Collins, then um, the money is going to start. The money is going to start looking real funny as to how much we can pay these guys. But we'll see. But we'll see how it works out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether or not we can release them. No, depends on how much guaranteed money they have. Depends on how much guaranteed money they have. Um, if their contracts are not guaranteed, then we can release them, pick up some money. But these guys, we're not paying them a lot to begin with, and so I don't know how much money we're going to save. Probably not a lot of money, uh, or significant money because to be quite frank with you, we're not paying these guys a lot of money. These guys are cheap rentals. We got these guys off of injury years, and we kind of took a risk at the expense of at the ability to be able to get them for a cheap price. Since we get them for a cheap price, um, we took a chance. We took a chance on them, and so when it's cheap for us to begin with, probably not saving a lot of money. But the good news is we draft well, and receivers usually come a dime a dozen in the draft. We'll probably pick up a couple of receivers. Probably won't need those guys. Byron Jones, Russell Byron Jones, Anthony Brown. If it's fun, they keep him around. Well, um, it comes down to foundation. It comes down to how much you want to be a cowboy compared to making money. Now there's a value associated with being a Dallas Cowboy. Being and so one of those being that you're already in Dallas. Maybe you have your family in Dallas, your home in Dallas. your family and friends, your home. You're stabilized in Dallas. In some cases, these guys have businesses. These guys have businesses in Dallas, and and then you take and go to another city. It just uh, sometimes it just comes as an inconvenience if you already have roots. If you already have roots, and so we'll see if these guys, man, want to take a little less money. But I kind of like uh, what Jerry and Steven said on the subject. We keep, if one player doesn't take all, if one or a few players doesn't take all the money, then we got money to keep solid players. And we can keep quality talent, and we can keep these guys on the roster that we spent years of developing. Lee Collins doesn't happen overnight. Hey, Byron Jones doesn't happen overnight. These guys, we spend years of developing these guys. We draft these guys, we prep these guys, and then we don't have enough money, and then we don't have enough money to keep our own guys on the roster. I mean, that we built to play in our system, and training. You know, I like the idea. I like the idea of being able to draft your guys, train, develop, and bring your guys up, and then bring your guys up on your roster, and then keep them. I know in these days and time, that's kind of a pipe dream with today's free agency and all the money that's being played around here. Just kind of a pipe dream, but I like the idea of being able to, of homegrown talent, being able to bring your guys up and be Cowboys for a long time. Yeah, Clay Cup. Yeah, I slot receivers. I slot receivers. It's Cobb. Tavon is more like Tavon is more likely either a kick returner or a punt returner. He will probably be there mostly for kick and punt returns. Especially if things don't, especially if we have to start Pollard, then we're not going to want Pollard back there uh, returning kicks if he becomes our starter. And so Tavon Austin by default becomes our kicking punt returner. And I think he will probably move. He'd be on the inside. He'd be on the inside sometimes. Sometimes he'd be on the outside. The unique thing about it, the thing about Tavon Austin is his speed. The guy, with his speed, makes a good vertical threat. And for that reason, sometimes you might want to line him up on the outside because then you can just run a stop and go or run a go route down the field and take advantage of his speed. He can just burn people. And so um, I don't know if he will. I don't know how much he will play on the inside because his speed makes him a good outside threat to go vertical. Yeah, I would have to agree with you there, Tyler. I would have to agree with you there. I would have to give you that foundation. Tyron Smith, his every year he has these some injury issue. Most time it's his back. Every year he has these back problems. And last year he had this big thing on this big knee brace on his arm and stuff. And so Tyron Smith has a lot of injury issues. You know, so yeah, I could see going and look for somebody that we can bring up to replace him. But we'll have to all see how it works out. Um, it would depend, it would depend because I don't really think that you want to go uh, for your lineman. I think you want to go first maybe second round talent for your lineman, and I don't know what our needs are going to be at that particular point in time. I don't really so much know if it's. I don't really know if it's so much of the money with Taco. I don't know if it's so much of the money with Taco um, as it is that he came out. He came out against the Texans and showed that he's turned the page, turned the corner, and that he can do it. Although be it Although be it the Houston Texans offensive line, let's face it, they're trash. But they're still an NFL team. They're still an NFL team. And Taco came out and had a good game, and he put visions in the minds of, of Jerry and the staff that he's turned the page and that he's on the verge of exploding. With D line and with D lineman in his position, it takes some time to develop those positions. Uh, like a Demarcus Lawrence. Demarcus Lawrence didn't become a Demarcus Lawrence overnight. Demarcus Lawrence, he didn't really explode until like year three. You know, so he didn't really explode for like year three. So I think they see some potential in Taco. Me personally, once his value kind of went up. He kind of had nice film. Me personally, I would have looked at the idea of maybe trading Taco. Well, I mean, but that's just me. Um, most people don't feel that way. Most people don't feel that way, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully, he's a cowboy. Hopefully, he goes out and balls out. I hope he goes and balls out. Um, as long as he wearing the cowboy uniform, I'm gonna wish him the best. I do know that Marinelli don't take. I do know Marinelli don't take any shit though. He's the you know he runs the show when it comes to them D linemen, and he's hard on them. So they'll get it worked out. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys checking in with me. I appreciate you guys checking in with me. I'm gonna check out. Um, yeah, cheap price, a lot of potential. Um, he's he's a See, the thing about it is, though, the Marsh is he's a cheap talent right now. He's a cheap talent right now, and but he's only got one more year. He's only got one more year left. You know, he's only got one more year left. He's making about first of all, he ain't that cheap. He's making about 6 million. Since being a first round draft pick, he's making about $6 million a year. He ain't that cheap. He's not cheap like a Dak Prescott type of cheap. He's cheap at about $5 or $6 million a year. And for the production we've got out of him, that hasn't really been cheap to us because we ain't really got that amount of production. But he's young. He does have some upside. Does have some potential. But if you got problems with your coaching staff, you got attitude problems, you got attitude problems. If you have such an issue that cupcake Garrett sometimes, you know, will put you on the bench as a healthy scratch because of your attitude, because of your attitude. And and here we are in three, here we are in year three, uh, here we are in year three. You coming to training camp rusty, and you're starting to finally turn the corner. You're starting to get some attention. Maybe now it's time to unload you. Maybe this is not the best locker room for you. I would not be opposed to trading. I would not be opposed to trading Crawford. Wait a minute. I would not be opposed to trading Taco. Trade Crawford. I don't know. Uh, I would not be opposed to trading Crawford. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it. Um, the reason being is it's last year. It's his last year. He's his last year. He's kind of an expensive. He is kind of an expensive piece. He costs us about $10 million a year. He's kind of an expensive piece, and if we're not going to keep him as part of our long-term future, um, why not trade him? Why not trade him? Let me answer my own question. Why would I not trade Crawford? Let me think. Oh yeah, he's our best run stuffer. No, he's our best run stuffer. He stuffs the run. He stuffs the run. He's a team captain, and so he has command of the locker room. The locker room respects him. The guys, his teammates respect him, and he's a leader. He's one of the defensive leaders. He wouldn't be if um, they wouldn't vote him. His team wouldn't vote him captain if he wasn't. And so he has a lot of pull in the locker room. And from a leadership standpoint, do you really want to disrupt your leadership team going into a year like this? So you could go either way on it. You could go either way on it, but I think it's a risk if you trade Crawford. Me personally, what would I do? I'd keep him. I'd keep him this year, and then I'd just unload him next year. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I'm checking out. I appreciate you. Hey, Mosh, you be safe, man. You be safe, man. You have a nice trip, bro. Hope everything work out well for you.